what is the coolest thing that you can still do simply because you had to learn that skill for a role and you just never forgot it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Daisy, I love you. Thank you for always fitting me in your schedule. I appreciate you.
Of course, always.
I'm going to jump into this. This movie has such a great, like, how the hell did I get here vibe, very John McClane and Die Hard kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm sort of curious. You've had such an incredible life, an amazing career over the past decade. What is sort of the moment that you would pinpoint and say that you were most thinking in that moment, looking around at the situation and going, wait, how the hell did I get here? How am I here in this moment right now?
Probably singing with Barbra Streisand. I remember thinking, what the F? I won't swear, but it was such an out of body experience. Just all of it. Even now I feel like it didn't really happen. And then I've seen her subsequently, and each time is Barbra Streisand. So that. And there have been so many moments, but yeah, that's a big one.
I'm like getting anxiety for a thing that already happened to you. I'm getting nervous for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's incredible. Because Joey is ex-military, obviously she possesses certain skills and abilities that aren't a part of her day-to-day life, but it's cool that she hasn't forgotten them. So I'm curious, by nature of being an actor, I know that you pick up skills and training along the way, and you don't forget those things just because you hear it cut. So I'm sort of curious, as an actor, as just a person, what is the coolest thing that you can still do simply because you had to learn that skill for a role and you just never forgot it?
Ooh, that's a good question. The thing is, for the most part, at the end of the film, I go, I'm done. Bye-bye, skill. Swimming, I learned, and I became quite a good swimmer. Haven't been swimming since. Learned to do some very cool fighting for cleaner. Have not fought anyone since. I don't tend to fight people. And I have thought about going back to kickboxing, but never have. Let's think. What I really love that I was able to do in cleaner is wire work. I think being any sort of elevation, and one of the things actually that was quite tricky in the film is I had to jump over a balustrade and hop down onto another level. And strangely, it's so tricky because you're basically moving without knowing where your legs are going to land. So it's such a process of doing that. And then getting to do it was so fantastic. And then you get to set in something slightly different and you're trying to figure that out. So anytime I go back to ropes, like I saw Cirque du Soleil recently, and of anything, I just love ropes. Yeah.
And the craziest thing is when we see the film, obviously they're digitally removed. So it's all this work for a thing that we are not even realizing is happening, which is...
Yes.
I've got to tell you though, now I kind of want to see you get in a fight while swimming, because I feel like you would be able to just combine everything that you've learned.
Yeah, fight a sea creature that has somehow grown arms. That sounds
right now, someone behind the scenes is going, get her a sea creature fighting scene. Like make this happen.
Brilliant.
If you'll allow me one nerdy question,
Sure.
just because it's hard to believe that this year is the 10th anniversary of Force Awakens, and I've never gotten to ask you about that movie, so I would just love to hear, if you don't mind. I'd love to know about the first time that you ever heard action and the very first take where you got to officially be Rey on set for the first time. Do you remember the very first action you ever heard called?
It's weird. I feel like I remember the first time, but I don't know that it was the first time. It's one of those ones where it was such an oval. Have you ever been skydiving?
I have.
So you know that time where you feel like you know what happened, but you can't figure out in the actual right order of things. So I feel there were a few moments that I remember. One was cleaning, and I remember thinking, this is a good way in. I know how to clean. I know how to do that. And I can just concentrate actually on the thing at hand. But I don't know if that was the first thing. There was a moment behind the speeder. That might have been the first thing. But we were definitely in the desert. And I remember being utterly terrified. I feel really lucky in that JJ began a really wonderful collaboration with directors who are really great at putting you at ease in situations that feel very overwhelming and difficult. So for him to have guided me through that was he was the perfect person.
I love that. Susan, I could talk with you all day. I have to confess, I had the great pleasure of interviewing Mr. Ford the other day, and I had to confess to him. And I feel like you can appreciate how awkward this was for me.
Right.
I had to say, like, Mr. Ford, I'm so sorry. Like, I do have that on my wall.
Oh.
It was a nerdy moment, but he also confessed that he also has a photo of me next to his bed. So it all ended up working out
So do I.
just fine.
How weird is that? Yeah.
Really, it's just a group of us. Thank you for always being the best. I always love talking with you,
Thank you
and
so
and
much.
I can't wait to talk with you again.
Thank you so much.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.